And we're live at 5.
We are live at 5 on this wonderful Wednesday.
Hey, that wasn't bad.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. Hey, everyone. Another episode of the Chefpreneur Show. Our mission is to inspire, educate, and support passionate cooks and chefs on the journey of starting their own personal chef business. We have a growing community of chefpreneurs, and we'd love you to join us. I'm your host, Andre Sinahosa, and I'm here with my co-host, Brock Wagner.
It's
Brock, how you
Brock
doing?
Wagner.
It's
What's up,
Brock.
guys?
How you doing today, brother?
We'll
Don't
get
answer
into
that.
we'll get
We'll
into
get
that
into actually how you are.
because that's part of what I want to yeah, it's part of what I want to bring
Yeah,
to
you want to actually
you
bring to
folks
the table
today and make you feel good.
Oh
Hopefully.
man, yeah, I know you were. Like we say, we come to the show. We like to kind of have it somewhat unscripted. We bring our own ideas, but he did mention to me what he wants to talk about today, and it's a doozy. It affects us all.
It really does.
It's going to be a good show because I think we're going to get
We're
into
all-
some deep stuff,
We're all
and it's going to
susceptible
help.
to it.
It's going to help hopefully alleviate some things from you, Brock, today that will help you. But
Yeah, let me just pour it out.
yeah,
I'm just
yeah,
gonna pour it out.
yeah, very very true. So, anyway, how was your week so far? Other than up till today,
Other than that, it's been an exciting week. We had a new release come out for Sue, which is really exciting. We've been working on it
Nice.
for a long time, so now we've got a new invoice page, which makes it a lot easier. And I actually had a couple chefs on with me today. Shout out to Chef Jared and Chef Mark, who was on our live Q&A that we do every week on Wednesdays, specifically for Sue. And it's to help answer any questions that you have, help guide you through.
Nice.
If you need to be, if you need help setting up your email to connect to Sue, sending invoices, things like that. And Jared always has great feedback, man. That guy, he's got a lot. I mean, if I showed you guys a list of our Trello board of all the different projects we have lined up for Sue, it'd blow your socks off because it's mind blowing. We have so many things that we have planned, and now it's just about like we just got to prioritize it, and it's frustrating for me because I want it all to be done now, and
Yeah.
because I'm excited about it, and I know how much it'll help the chefs, but we have to do it in phases. So the great news is that we're actually planning as part of the invoice update. Our natural next step is tips, which we've talked about from the moment that we secured the partnership with Nuvei, our payment processor for the software.
Yeah, it was a big
We
one.
were like, we want to have the ability to have tips because it's huge for the personal chef business.
Oh yeah.
And that's should be happening at the end of this week. So I'm
Nice.
really excited for that.
That
So,
quick?
Yeah, when you send,
Oh,
when you,
wow.
I mean, we've been working on it for a while, but it's like we knew it was done, but there was other things that we had to line up to get it ready.
Yeah.
And we're finally at that point where the team's like, hey, we can do this. And what it'll look like is you send the final invoice and you'll be able to check a box that says that you can request tip, because not all services you really might be requesting a tip. Maybe you're doing a family meal prep or something, and it's like they don't want to be prompted for a tip every single invoice, things like that. So you get to choose, but it'd be
so
really cool.
cool,
So once
man.
you choose it, it'll take them to a kind of a betweener page that'll have options for tip, and they'll be able to choose the typical percentages.
Then they do a study. Then they do a study that showed that like when actually presented with an opportunity to tip, I think it's a higher conversion rate of people actually tipping. So
and you'll get
that feature alone. Think about that is probably going to earn you money.
Oh, it'll
that feature alone will probably
increase your
pay for
bottom
your
line.
subscription.
Yeah,
every month
your bottom
to
line.
Sue.
Oh, for sure.
So yeah, that's so awesome, man.
Yeah, and then they'll just automatically add it to the final invoice when they go to the checkout page. So yeah, so I'm really excited about that. And don't listen, they got studies out there because I do research on it because we're doing this stuff, so I want to kind of know what the market says and different perspectives. And they'll say like there's guilt tipping.
Yeah.
And now let me tell you this. And let me actually ask you this for anybody who's listening, and go ahead and leave a comment, man. What would you rather have? Would you rather have a bill that comes to you and includes the gratuity automatically? Like, does that make you feel good? Or would you always be allowed to choose what you can tip? Like, they'll present the option to you. You can always select no. But there's people out there that are like, oh, it's guilt tipping and you make people feel, and it's like, well, honestly, I'd rather be given the choice and feel guilty about saying no than
Yes.
to have it put automatically on my
I
on my
100% agree with
receipt.
you. In fact, we teach all of our chefpreneurs to do that anyway. That's when we teach. We're like this whole party of six or party of 10 or more tip. It's like, I'll be honest, I feel like it gives an excuse for them not to give you a really good service.
And
That's just
guess
me.
what?
You guys can hate me or love me, but that's how I feel, to be honest.
when you do that, how do you know that you're not leaving money on the table? How do you know that
Oh yeah,
your
it's true.
15% or 20% automatic gratuity isn't isn't less than what they were actually would have tipped you anyway?
Yep.
Some of these people are very generous.
Yep.
And if you automatically put that in there, you might feel like you're winning in the short term, like, oh yeah, I made a little bit extra on my tips. But then that client could be on the back end. You never know. They could have been like, well, hell, I was going to tip you 33%.
Yep. You just never know. And then that's where you can shy away people from that as well, because there's a lot of people that don't like that, to be honest. So I wanted to just kind of shoot before we get into today's topic. And we have a big show. We have some major announcements to talk to you guys about. Big time.
I wish we had.
Are you able? Yeah, I was gonna say we don't have it, but are you able to share your screen on here today?
No, because I don't have it. I don't have it hooked into here.
But I mean, on Riverside, aren't you able to maybe with the stream? Maybe
I can check.
Maybe.
Oh yeah. I think I can.
Okay. So we have some big news.
I'll get it pulled up
now.
See if we can
Now the big news, unfortunately, does go within why today's topic is today's topic, and we kind of merged this together. So, but we do have some exciting and big news, and we're gonna tell you guys how to join, and we're gonna release like. I kind of want to do some of it too. Can I do some of it too?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
I'm not gonna do it all by myself.
And before we get into it, I know it's gonna sound funny. I'm trying to get a sponsor for the show. I'm not even joking. Okay. I'm trying to get a sponsor for the show so we can bring on better lights, better cameras, all that stuff for you guys. Better, we've actually already got some great equipment donated to us legitimately by, again, Isaac Batar. We love you, brother. You're an amazing man. And yes, it is. Oh, that's right. We got to give a shout out to Ashley Wagner. It is her birthday today.
It is my wife's birthday today.
Brock's wife's birthday. Shout it out to Ashley Wagner. We love you. She's awesome. But anyway, I'm literally
happy birthday, babe. Love you.
Happy birthday.
Sing you a serenade. Happy birthday.
Oh boy. Come on, let's try to keep the watch up. Okay, we got to keep the viewers up, not down. All right. Actually, we should both serenade. No, I'm not serenade, but you can serenade her. So, like I said, I love this Ultima refresher. And so I don't know, man, I'm going to tag them and see if they'll sponsor our show. You never know. I got my big old mason jar of my purple drink. So what this is an all natural, crazy amount of electrolytes with trace minerals. Again, I am not sponsored by them, but I'm being very blunt. I want to get sponsored by them. It's really, really good. This is my favorite flavor. It's made with like stevia, so it's very natural. There's no sucralose or aspartame or whatever that thing's called, or the bad stuff. And it's actually kind of, it's not pricey, because when you really think about it, I think this cost me, it's lasted me for a while. I think this cost me like $38 or something like that. But this like is basically like Gatorade. It replaces that, and it's not full of just chalk sugar, and it's actually 0 calorie. And I love it. So share this show and say, hey, if anybody helps me connect with Ultima, I would be very, very happy. And so I just figured, since I'm going to be having my big mason jar of purple drink with me on today's show, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to put it right here in front, and give them a little free advertisement as I take this refreshing Ultima. Ooh. Oh, I could just feel the electrolyte just sizzling through my veins. I don't even know if that's
definitely
possible.
Getting a sponsorship now.
Yeah, we should be better get a sponsorship. Hey, let's do some shout outs. We got Jason on. We got Chef Dan Ninroll on. We got Chef Jarrett Session. How you doing, Chef? We got Chef Harley. We got Jordan. Jordan Mendoza's on.
What's up, Jordan?
Actually, I have to call him. Actually, we have some good news, and we have a gentleman who's enrolling into our protege program from Costa Rica. They live in Costa Rica, but they're moving to Portland. They're going to be starting their business in Portland. So I got to give that out to Jordan as well. Chef Jewel, welcome to the show. So we love you guys all. Again, big show today, guys. A big announcement coming at you. Brock, let's just dive right in. I mean, just dive right into the topic of today's show, which is
Frustration.
frustration. If anybody's ever been frustrated, I want you to comment a big F.
Yeah.
In the comment. Has anybody ever been frustrated? If not,
If
everybody.
nobody's ever been frustrated, you guys can put a big
If
L
not-
in there because you're a liar.
Yeah, exactly. I would say if not everybody puts an F in there, it's just straight line. Everybody's been frustrated to a point in their own. Yeah. Jared put like 5 Fs. Chef Harley's like F. Chef Dan's like effing F F F. That's a little extra, but that's okay. That's what we're here for. So listen, Brock said, he said, you know what? We got to talk about this today. And again, we don't want to just talk about topics that are in a negative context on the show, right? We want to talk about topics, but then give you solutions and help you navigate out of being frustrated.
Well, guess what? If you're trying to solve for something and you're talking about the solution, you can't talk about a solution without talking about the problem.
True.
And so
very true.
Frustration is just the problem that we want to talk about, but then we also want to head to the solution. And I feel like maybe it'll just be a little bit of therapy for me today. Maybe it'll be therapy for some of you today too.
No, I think it's going to resonate with a lot of people because
I just know that everybody gets frustrated, especially when you're an entrepreneur.
Oh yeah.
You're in control of everything, right? Yep. And so when things happen, like you're the one that has to make choices, and so it's going to affect you more. Because if you're in a job, yeah, you get frustrated and you get frustrated at other people. In fact, that actually sometimes is even worse because then you feel like you don't have the control. But then also at times, depending on the job that you're at, you're kind of like, F it. Somebody else can deal with it, you know? Whereas as a business owner, it's like, nobody else can deal with this because it's my business. So, I just want to talk about frustration because unfortunately, folks, I've been very frustrated today. I've been extremely frustrated today.
And it was not, I'll piggyback off of that when we get to it, but I also want to
I had a really good call with Jared and Mark. That was like this nice little reprieve.
Oh, that's good.
But
thank God.
But then I just things, it's one of those days where you feel like, man, could anything else like happen?
And then it can.
Yeah. And it's even just like the smallest things. Like
I know
milk gets spilled in the backseat of your car. And you're like, really?
It's funny. It's funny that you mentioned this about frustration. And again, I mean, we want to give you guys some tips and nuggets today as well. But like, here's the thing. Fact of the matter is that a lot of us do find ourselves in a frustrating space. And I brought this up in one of our Connect groups, Brock, recently, because, sometimes even as believers, like for those of you guys that don't know us, me and Brock, we both have an endearing faith into our Heavenly Father.
Big time.
That's we give him all the glory and credit. And sometimes you feel even as a Christian, like I think sometimes people even as Christians feel like, oh, I can't get frustrated, or it's a sin if I get frustrated. And I'm like, I don't really see that very much in the Bible, right? You can have your, like, even to be angry, it's if you act on it, but like frustration is just a natural emotion that happens. You can be frustrated and still be in faith though, and still be in faith as well.
Right.
And because we're just human beings.
Frustration is an emotion. Human emotion.
It's an emotion. And it's like, how do we navigate that? And how do you move beyond that for like to keep pushing forward? Now, if you get so frustrated where, again, and we'll talk about this, I think the ultimate thing that could happen, unfortunately, that would be a negative thing on frustration would be to quit. But that would have to be like severe frustration. But most of the time it's something that's going to pass. But yeah, we all have those days, and it just seems to you just feel like you want to just like punch the wall or something, and you get frustrated. So why don't you just speak a little bit about even your day, Brock, and kind of some of those things, and then I really want to come in.
I'll try to weave and navigate without giving away.
It's going to be hard. I know. Like we said, we have a big show. We have some announcements going on today.
Announce it. We're going to announce it towards the end. But yeah. So anytime that you're doing business, right? Like there's strategy, there's execution, there's planning, there's finances, there's everything you can think of when it comes to a business. and technology as well. And technology is a huge one. No matter if you are super great at technology, if you feel like you're just a maverick out there with all the tools and platforms and stuff, like even with our software, you know, technology will have a mind of its own sometimes. It will not work properly sometimes. Like everything with tech is it's all connected, like the hardware, the software. So anyway, just technology just gets you frustrated because when it doesn't work, it's like,
Yeah.
you know, it's just damning.
Yeah.
But if it does work, it's a huge blessing, right? So technology is this huge gift and curse all at the same time. And today, just things were not working properly for what we're trying to accomplish, you know. And it becomes particularly frustrating when
Excuse me.
you feel like you're really, you know, you're having this kind of like breakthrough moment with business. You feel like things are picking up momentum and there's consistency, and then all of a sudden it's like boom, line is severed. Like you're not able to do something, you're relying on that, you feel like you're relying on that. It could mean the difference between impacting somebody's life, helping them, providing support to somebody, doing something right, and somebody else is dependent on you through which you're communicating in that. It'd be like your phone, right? Like you get so frustrated when your phone doesn't work properly, when you call somebody and they're like hello, and you're like hey, and they're like hello,
Oh God.
and you're like hey.
I know.
and it's just not working, right? And it just in that split second, what can happen is it can affect your mood for a little bit, or it can affect your mood for an entire day if you let it.
Yeah.
Just like when you're in traffic and
Yeah.
somebody cuts you off, like it can set the tone for the whole day. um Here's the thing, like circling back to our faith for a little bit, that's that's the only thing that can keep me sane throughout a day without literally losing like all of my crap. Because I have to look back at it and I say, okay, I know this thing's not working. I know what we're trying to do. I know
Yeah.
what it means to have it done or to have it working. And when it's not, I have to check myself and ask myself, am I reliant on that thing, or am I reliant on my Heavenly Father?
Yep.
And I have to just take a moment, take a breath, and realize like it's not the end of the world. And what was it? I think Donald Trump in his book, he approaches it this way, regardless of what you think of the man. Like there's people that you like or dislike that can give you some really good golden nuggets. And
Yeah.
if you just kind of look through, ignore the person themselves or how you feel about it, just look at what they're saying. And it's a real big truth. It is asking yourself, is this just a hiccup, like a little bump in the road, or is this a catastrophe? Right? And when you put it in that perspective, you can have a better perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can say, okay, this is a hiccup. It's not like causing the world to end, like the whole business hasn't imploded. But yeah, and we're reliant on, you know, we put things out there. We use platforms like ClickFunnels to do our websites and web pages and WordPress and all that. And so it's really important that you guys are able to access the resources we provide, able to access the content, able to see things that we have that you can be a part of. It's important because we look at that and we say that could be the difference between someone getting their life changed and someone continuing to head down a path that is not
Yeah.
getting them closer to their goals. And not that they're relying on us as well, but that we've been called and gifted with things that really is meant to change lives. It really is meant to add and to help you guys get closer to your goals. And so I just get particularly frustrated in those moments where it's like we have something really great that's going to be happening very soon, and right now we haven't been able to fully like release it because of these technical issues we've encountered. And so now
Yeah.
it's just like now the patience. So I'm frustrated about that. And
I
then
think sometimes it
little things
truly is
happen.
as well, like spiritually the enemy sometimes too. Just it's almost laughable because it always happens sometimes on when you really, really need it to happen. When you're actually like when it really depends on it. But aside from all that, it's like I love what you said, Brock. It's you can decide to choose for it to really mess you up for the entire day or for the moment. And this goes back to I released I don't know, it's been a while now, maybe a few months, a couple months, 2 months ago. If you guys haven't watched the video on our YouTube channel, it's titled like personal accountability, I think. And I had part 1 and part 2. Go back and watch that video. I kind of let it out of the bag a little bit. We've talked about it a little bit on the show sometimes, where personal accountability. But the reason I'm saying that is because at the end of the day, we all have decisions and we have choices to make. So much, again, I don't want to like turn this whole show from frustration into power, but that's kind of where it's headed. Like, because it really is about power. You know, most people don't realize how much power they give away. And like here at Chefpreneur, like we're actually trying to we're trying to put the power in the decision and the choice in your hands, because that's actually where it belongs. And so when you allow things to frustrate you to a point where you can't think about anything else, like it's like, oh, my whole day's ruined, and you're in this like pissy mood for the rest of the day, and then you're treating everybody that you love and everybody that's around you that had nothing to do with why you're frustrated, you're just treating them like crap. Well, now you're kind of being an a-hole, and you're kind of being a jerk. And what happens is you're giving so much power to a situation. Believe it or not, you can give power to not only people, but you can give power to situations. And situations can have strongholds over you. And if you don't know how to control that, that's a problem. And again, this is not something to say where we're so great and perfect at it either. I mean, we're human beings. Like, you're going to get frustrated for a degree of time. It's just a matter of, okay, how long am I going to let this affect me? And let's find a solution for it. And, you know, in my faith, like I said, I've really deeply thought about this and wondered to myself, like, is it okay to feel frustrated? Now, I've never been frustrated with God, because that's not the person that I'm ever going to be frustrated with, because it's not him doing all these things. Okay, we live in a fallen world. We live in a world that sometimes is very crappy. But we can still remain in faith and be frustrated. Again, that's where you have to really make sure that it doesn't go deeper into your heart to where it starts to kind of like create resentment and bitterness and things like that, especially if it's a frustration with a person. If it's a frustration with a situation, usually the situation is going to turn itself around, or it's going to, you're going to fix it, or you're going to find a way to fix it, or it's just going to naturally kind of unkink. With people, frustration with people goes a little deeper, and you can allow that to be like a poison and a cancer in your heart. And that's where grudges start and bitternesses start and all that. And none of us are perfect in that. None of us are perfect. None of us are completely like immune to that. And you might be thinking, Chef, what does this have to do with like entrepreneurship? What does this have to do with like, it has everything to do with it. As someone who has to lead not only, your business and yourself, but like whether it's even leading customers into your business, like you have to be like, there has to be a level of level headedness that you have to have. And if you don't, it's going to be really, really, you know, really, really hard to to overcome those things if you allow them to burrow and get so deep to where, again, it just completely like creates this cancer within you of bitterness and resentment and things like that. So, frustration, today, like Brock was saying, he was frustrated with tech, and we'll let the cat out of the bag here pretty soon. But realistically, like, that's the thing, is that we're always trying to help as many people as possible. And again, anything that we say here as far as like why we're saying it, we're not, again, I always tell people, I'm not wanting you to think that I'm some Mother Teresa. We're doing some sound check and stuff.
Yeah.
Still low. Anybody else? Is it still low?
Now it's showing higher.
Showing a little bit higher now. Let us know in the comments.
Better. Okay.
Better. Okay.
Yeah.
So basically what I was saying was, we're trying to help as many people as possible. Here's another thing too, like with frustration, one of the things I've realized, Brock, and I don't know if you'd agree with me on this, is that if you're already sometimes as well, it's like, I sometimes think too, it's also not quite the situation of just a frustration in that moment. I think it also sometimes have to like, there's almost a, depending on how your mood is already as a prerequisite. Like what I mean by that is if you're already having a bad day and then something really frustrating happens, then it's like, whoa, like, and then the situation actually goes from like the situation itself that's maybe frustrating you is probably very small, but now it looks like a mountain to you because of just it's like, it's almost like it puts you over the top. And, and so like for me, like, my personal deals, what I feel frustrated is I kind of I kind of like feel like I'm a little bit like, not I don't want to say on my own, like, but I kind of push a little bit away. I kind of want to be alone in my thoughts. I'm trying to like, I just kind of feel frustrated. What I found recently about myself is that if I actually just open up and talk to somebody about it, it really helps. And I think that's also something that like a lot of us don't do. Sometimes we have so much pride and sometimes it can be frustrated because like, I'll give you an example. I won't tell you who I was on the phone with. I won't say the chef's name, but I had a really good call today with a chef and they started out by asking me a general kind of like, hey, how do I get on these shows on like Food Network and stuff like that? And I'm like, I don't think I have a blueprint for that. I've never been on one of these game shows or anything like that. Not game shows, but like these Food Network shows or anything like that. And I'll be honest, like instantly when they said that, I was kind of already thinking like, that's not why you scheduled this call. Like I already know that's not why you scheduled this call, was to ask me, how do I get on a show? Mm-hmm. So I started digging deeper into their business and I'm like, so what's going on in their business? Like how you been, well, and then it's like, slowly it came out to a point where it's like, I keep like lowering my prices and then like people still aren't hiring me. And then they're going with people that are much like higher priced than me. And then I'm like, I kind of get confused and I'm kind of like beating myself up with it. And then she's like, I'm just frustrated. And she said that. And she goes, I feel like I'm doing okay, but I want to do a lot better. And what's funny is I totally, because I can feel her pain because I've been there so many times before. And you wonder to yourself, it's like, and here's the thing, this is a big takeaway, and write this down, guys and gals, write this as a note. Sometimes we're frustrated for a point of reason where it's not because we're dumb or we're doing it like, we're doing it wrong because we're doing it wrong on purpose. It's simply sometimes because we don't know what we're doing. Like, I'm assuming if Grandpa John was still around and you would give him an iPhone, he would probably get frustrated pretty quickly. He's never dealt with that. He had his flip phone probably till he died. I don't know if did he have a smartphone at all? Do you know?
No, he had the Motorola Razor.
Oh God.
I remember when he had that.
The Razor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty cool, to be honest. Like Grandpa had the Razor. He had a better phone than I did. I still had that old like block Nokia style phone. He had the Razor. Yeah. And I'm like, man, Grandpa John's a badass.
Yeah. Well,
but an iPhone, I think he would.
Yeah, iPhone. He would get kind of like, he would think it's cool. Like, oh, well, you can see, I can only imagine his face looking at a video like, oh, are they seeing like this is a real video? Like you wouldn't know. It's something that wasn't around like even in his little time, or maybe it was, but he just wasn't there with it.
No.
But the fact of the matter is he'd be frustrated, even though the phone is meant to help him, even though the phone is there to make his life easier. But if you don't know how to use it, like you were saying with technology, and that's a huge piece of it for a lot of people's technology. But it also could be because it's like you're frustrated because you're trying to get to the other side, even in your guys' business. Like this could be speaking to you guys. Like you might be sitting there saying, Chef, I feel frustrated in my business. I started a year ago. I started 2 years ago. I've gotten some traction, but for some reason, I feel like I'm missing the mark still. Mm-hmm. And again, it's not because I believe because you're so crappy and you're dumb and you don't know what you're doing. It's that you just don't know. You don't know the path. You don't know that, like, you don't have a method. You don't have a recipe for it. Yeah. And so sometimes it's very frustrating. Like I can only imagine giving Danielle, my wife, shout out to Danielle, I love you, sweetheart, but giving her like some recipe that I would make in a restaurant, but without a recipe, and be like, yeah, go ahead and make a roasted rabbit, galantine with braised Brussels sprouts.
Giving her the ingredients, but not telling her, hey, when you do this, like you have to baste it. Like, but what does basting mean? Like,
yeah, exactly. She won't know those things. And so like the fact of the matter is, unless she had a clear, detailed plan to follow, she could probably get it done. But the fact is that most of us feel very frustrated because we don't have a plan. And, I was listening to Alex Hermosi the other day, and he really actually blew my mind a little bit. He said to me, on his video, he said, like, in society now, we can't buy time. Like, never have been able to. I'm saying is in society now, as if it's like we were able to. Okay, we've never been able to buy time,
as opposed to
but in a way, using products and services, and not only other people to help you, but even on the intangible stuff, like giving you a roadmap to the treasure, is the only way you can in a form buy time. What he meant by that was like education. Like, if you learn from somebody who's been doing something for 20 years, and even if it takes you a year to do what they know how to do, and you paid them a certain amount of money, you technically paid them and invested to knock off 19 years off of your life to learn that skill or learn that technique, or however you want to say it. And I started thinking about
purple?
that.
You need some purple?
Yeah, I need some of my purple drink.
I think a really easy concept for that, just to tie it to the business, would be you guys taking the sales calls for your own business, right? Like, you getting on the phone with the client. Buying time would be an example of that. Would be you hiring someone to do those calls for you. Now, you as the chef, you're no longer spending your time on the phone. So now, yes, you are spending money to have a person be on the phone, but it's actually inadvertently like you're buying your time. That's the way that you're doing it. So it works in scaling your business, right? By having other people do things. And then, does it also make you money? So are you buying your time, but then also is it allowing you to produce more?
Correct.
And then as well with education, like you're saying,
it's a skill set, or learning a skill set is a way as well. Like, but learning from someone who's already done it is the fastest path to success. A. B. It's kind of one of the few ways to only buy time. Again, I can't go down to the local Walgreens and say, give me another 2 years on my life for 10 grand. But I can go to somebody and say, hey, can you shortcut my business for me? If I did it on my own for 5 years, shortcut it down to a year to know, or shortcut it down to 6 months to help me figure out what I even need in my business. Or like Brock said, another simple form of that is, of course, hiring people and doing that. That's another form of course, buying time. But even in your own sense of the word, here's another thing too. Investments are very crucial in life. And there's a saying again that says skills pay the bills, right? If you're going to learn something, it should be a skill set. Learning a skill set is highly important. And there's different skill sets that, again, what's funny is, like, you talk to any of, there's an interview with Grant Cardone and Robert Herjavec from Shark Tank the other day I was watching on YouTube. And Grant Cardone asked him, like, okay, if you had $1 million left, like, what would you do with that? He goes, well, $1 million is not a lot of money, but like, he goes like, well, there's two things I would do. I would want to build a foundation first. And if I had $1 million, this is what he said. If I had $1 million, I'd probably buy a little bit of real estate with it just to build a foundation. And then I would take the cash flow from that and use my skills to make more money, to buy more assets and blah, blah. But then he said, now, if you told me I only had $100,000 left, this is what he said. He says, I could make $1 million with $100,000, not because of real estate, but because of the skills of, I could go out and get a sales job and make $1 million selling, because I've learned that skill in my lifetime. And so you have to understand, investment, the best investment to make is not also just to be investing in something that's going to make you money like the vehicle is. The safest place sometimes to put it is in your, actually, I believe it's actually the safest place is to invest that to learn skills that no one can take away from you. Because an investment, like for instance, if you put an investment in the stock market, yes, it could go up, it can go down. But let's just say for the sake of it, it's in your benefit for the next 3 years. Great. You're making 6-7% a year. Okay. However, let's just say something happens and that company goes belly up the next day. Well, it's out of your control. Basically your money's gone, or something happens, or you make good money and the IRS can come take half of it for taxes. But what the IRS can't take from you and what the stock market can't take from you are skills. And skills then is your way to produce more and make more money and earn things. And so going back again, sometimes with frustration, kind of tying it back to frustration a lot of times happens because you don't have the skills to actually go through what you're going through. For instance, like Brock, Brock is very, very equipped and savvy on tech. Okay. So it's not like it's his first rodeo. This guy oversees our whole software program, for crying out loud. Well, right now it's like literally out of his hands. Like you didn't even find the solution to it. They don't even know what we're talking about detailed yet, but you couldn't find a solution. You're almost like waiting. It's a waiting game,
right?
Because of the platform and the website we're using to do this. So really it's out of Brock's hands. Now that's the ultimate frustration. Okay. Because it's like, now you can't, which is funny though. He already tied it into like a job. If you're frustrated at a job, sometimes there's not much you could do if you're just at that job. As an entrepreneur, it's like, well, I mean, technically we have another option. We can go high level. We can move things over. It's going to take time, but we technically have a solution in plan B if we really wanted it to. But at the same time, again, and time is money and so forth, we won't go down that road. But that's the ultimate frustration. But again, a lot of you guys are just frustrated sometimes because you legitimately just don't have the skill set, or you don't know that. And people think starting a business, there's no, like, in our programs and what we teach, and even on listening to the show, we want to help you build up skill sets in selling, in being a better, in a way, public speaker, how to communicate to people more clearly, how to communicate to people more clearly in your marketing. All these things are skill sets. If you really know how to do those things, right? Even the skill set of cooking alone, right? I mean, that's the whole point of why, if people feel like I have a good enough skill to cook for someone where someone will pay me for cooking, well, you probably should know how to cook somewhat decent if you're going to sell it as a service. If you burn boiling water, then probably don't start this business, right? Because you don't have the skill set yet. And so, like, again, there's also those types of variances. But I'm more so now, more than ever, Brock, really understanding and realizing that the best investments are made in us individually as ourselves, to learn skill sets, to learn things. Of course, as you grow a business and you're investing in a team and so forth and so on, that's leveraging the team, that's leveraging time. Yeah. But then, like, for instance, like Brock said, it would actually have to start with you having a skill set of knowing how to sell to a client before you even bring somebody on and say, sell for the company. Who's going to teach them? Who's going to train them to be a killer salesperson for your personal chef business? You are. Yep. So you better know that skill set. Again, that's why it's even more important than just leveraging, because it's hard even to leverage time, even without a skill set, especially when you're building a company. And so, again, it's like one of those things where, again, as you're mentoring your team, you're building them up, you can help them build their skill sets so they can be on par with you. Now, I think that we should kind of let the cat out of the bag here a little bit on some of the announcements. And I don't know if you want to announce the Cinco Dia type of thing. And can I announce the other thing, though? Can I announce the other thing?
Yeah.
The cutter.
Yeah.
All right. So here's some big announcements. Brock, take it away on the first announcement and why you were frustrated. Tell them why you were frustrated.
I was very, very frustrated because we're launching another 5-day challenge starting next week on Monday. We did this last year. It was super impactful. I mean, people were getting their business started within the 5-day challenge.
Yes.
They were getting their first partnerships. They're getting their first clients. And that's literally what this 5-day challenge is focused on, is helping you find your first and next clients. I say clients because, again, like Andres is saying, when you build a skill and you learn how to do something, you're then able to repeat it and use it over and over and over again. So not only are you going to find your first client, but now you'll have the system to go out and find more and more clients. And it's really exciting for us. And it was so exciting that when we want to launch and it's a domain issue. So, we had the domain up, everything was working yesterday. We actually had some people register, which is great. But today was going to be the official, announce, release, everybody can register, get into the challenge. It's very interactive. It's engaging. We bring people on. There's a hot seat. Is the website working now? If it's working,
I don't
that's really
know.
great.
It looks kind of like
we're
it.
Gonna put the
we'll
link.
see.
We're gonna put the link down below as well, and just keep an eye on your inbox. If you're new to this channel and you're new to us, head over to the Chefpreneur Movement Facebook group. Join our Facebook group. It's called the Chefpreneur Movement. Other than that, we will have a link down here. Be checking back. If you've been with us for a while, you're probably part of our email list. We're going to send an email out, and it's going to have all the details. You'll be able to register. Everything's free. There's a really awesome hot seat application we're going to do where you can come on live with us on day 2 and 3 and ask any question that you want. That was super awesome last year. What else?
Well, I just put it in the chat.
Okay, awesome.
I just put it in the chat. So go ahead and register if you want. I was
struggling with the domain today.
Yes.
It went down for some reason.
We want to tell you, if you're listening to the audio of this, we're wanting to tell you that you can go to chefpreneurchallenge.com.
Yes.
We don't know if that's working or not, so try it out. But I also put like the direct link. So yeah, I mean, and want to make sure that you guys can get that. So click on it.
It's 5 days.
5 days, 100% for free.
100% free.
Tons of value.
90-minute sessions each day, same time every day, 2:00 p.m. Eastern time. If you're like, oh man, that's like a time that I can't make, like make the time. Trust me, make the time, because it's going to be worth it. If this means that you can get your first partnership, your first clients, your next clients, get a system for yourself that's established that allows you to get them over and over again, would it be worth it to you? Like, would it be worth even taking the day off? Like, yeah, I'm going to get that mold. Like, would you take the day off of work, join these challenges and the days, and learn how to really get this business going? And our whole thing, our kind of motto this year, I think is really for this year and just going forward, is we want you to build a real business, an emphasis on real, because we're not in it to help you build a side hustle. We're not in it to help you, get on a network TV show or anything like that. We're here to help you build a real business that brings you real clients and real income, real revenue, and real results. So everything is really geared towards that. And we've even, if you've been on last year's challenge, we've even made tweaks and we've got even more refined. And we took some of this other stuff out and we put new stuff in that is really actually going to be way better. And I'm just really excited for it. But this year we have something really new, and I'll segue and I'll toss it over to you.
Yes.
We have an event sponsor. And so
we have an event sponsor, and I wanted to just give a shout out to him, but I'm going to let you guys know what it is. We have an event sponsor. We have officially partnered with a gentleman named Levi. His company is called Northern Knife Works, and we have and will be creating the first ever Chefpreneur handmade, handcrafted chef's knives. Now what's funny is that not what's funny, but like they're not going to be available to the public. I'm just going to throw that out there right now. So if I start seeing people, where's the link to buy one or put a pre-order or whatever, because they're handmade. We had a 3-hour meeting with them in my living room. We were talking about the knife, the dimensions, the feel of it. He's going to start, doing. He's an amazing knife maker. I mean, in fact, it's the knife that he did give us is razor sharp.
The knives are stupid sharp.
They're very, very sharp. They're amazing. They're super durable. Again, they're handmade, handcrafted. I mean, literally every knife is made in a 17-point process. I think it was like 17-point process by hand by him. Okay, like that. Like these are no joke knives. Okay, so here's what's really crazy. If you join the 5-day Chefpreneur Challenge, if you join the Chefpreneur Challenge and you take action, we are going to be having basically a prize or a raffle at the end of the challenge. So the challenge dates, by the way, guys, and gals, is March 13th through March 17th. It's going to be in a private Zoom webinar link. Again, you have to sign up in order to obviously get all the details and get all the reminders and get that link. However, we're going to be going in live on the challenge every day at 2:00 Eastern time, every single day, Monday through Friday, on Friday, we will be giving away a raffle prize. The way that you're going to be able to earn raffle tickets, quote unquote, digital raffle tickets, is if you take action in the challenge. So we're going to have various things of how you earn points. And then basically how many points that you have, that's how many times you're going to be able to be in the raffle. So if like you're one of those people that are going to be there showing up every day and you're going to do like, you're going to actually do the work, you could have 25 raffle points and the grand prize is going to be an exclusive one of a kind. Chefpreneur utility knife. It's not going to be a chef's knife. It's going to be this awesome utility knife. And it's going to be so custom. Yes, kitchen utility knife, of course. It's going to be so custom that whoever wins it, we're going to actually have them be on a private Zoom call with Levi himself and probably Brock, just because, and us, to then like decide what handle you want on your knife, like the color, like it's going to be so badass.
The little grommets,
the grommets, like there's all these little details. Can I let the cat out of the bag right now a little bit about the special offer a little bit or not? Should I withhold? I'll withhold. Listen, you don't want to be missing this challenge. At the end of this challenge, we will just say that we're going to have an unbelievable special offer for us if you really want our help to help you in your business. I at least just want you to be there to see that. It's going to be something that's going to be something insane. Okay, so do not miss out. Sign up for the challenge, chefpreneurchallenge.com. It looks like it's working right now. I don't know if it is.
My mouse isn't.
Maybe God is like throwing it in right at the last minute while we go live here. But chefpreneurchallenge.com, sign up. Spaces are actually limited. And when I say that, it's actually like I'm not saying it like just for jokes, because we only have so many people that can be on the Zoom at the same time. So spaces are limited. Make sure you sign up. But that's going to be, we're also going to have some other really cool prizes as well. I won't tell you all the prizes we're going to have. You're going to have to sign up to see them.
And if it doesn't seem to be working, don't worry. We do have a solution that's coming.
It's coming.
We're waiting on the maintenance part of it. Just
is yours still not working?
Be patient. Mine's not, but sometimes it's caching different things. So
so I don't know. Some people it's working, some people it's not. Hopefully it just stays working as much as possible.
But the registration is going to be open all the way through Sunday till midnight Pacific time. So you have all the way till then, but you only have until then. Okay. After Sunday at midnight, the doors close, and you may not be able to register again. And so it's going to be really important to be on this challenge. I mean, just the community alone and the fact that you're on the challenge. Plus, I think we were looking at potentially hosting a panel of students like that.
And chefpreneurs.
So there's just a lot of crazy, good, exciting things, and it's one of the most interactive things that we do that is free. Otherwise, typically to interact with anything that we're doing.
Think about it this way: like you guys are tuning into the show right now, right? And we usually about an hour on the show, and we give value, right? Are we talking about building your business the whole time? Well, we're here to inspire you. We're here to educate you. We're here to help you. We're also here to entertain you and have a good time as well. But in this challenge, we get
it's very structured.
It's very structured. And it's a training. Yeah. Like, in fact, I'll be very straight with you. I was talking to a coach of ours earlier today, and I was having a conversation with him, and he was telling me, like, honestly, Chef, like, what you're doing in this challenge, you should actually probably charge a small admission fee for it. I haven't made up my mind yet on the next one, but like this one, it's 100% for free. I might actually, though, we might look at like the next one, maybe like we'll still have like the next one maybe for free. If you guys want us to do it again, we want to do another one, and we'll see what happens after this one next week. But maybe he was actually giving me an idea that maybe for a small ticket price, maybe there's a VIP section where we can give them even more content and actually give you guys some more knowledge and wisdom on how to grow your business. So anyway, be on the lookout for that, but sign up. If for some reason, again, like this should be up and running by the end of tonight, that should be all hopefully fixed tonight.
Here within like the next 15 to 30 minutes.
Like if for some reason you're watching this and you just feel like you just don't want to miss out, I'm just going to go ahead and give them our number to text. just in case it's like a buffer.
Sure.
If for some reason you're showing up and again, you're going to Chefpreneur, that's Chef, PRENEUR challenge.com. If that's not pulling up for you to register, here's what I want you to do. Write this number down. I want you to text me at 470-410-6566. That's 470-410-6566. Text that number. Text me your name and your email address. Okay, so that we can at least just put you in our system and manually add you if all else fails, because we don't want you to miss on this event. So see, what turned out to be a frustration in you today, we're still going to get the word out. People are still going to be able to join the 5-day challenge. But we're going live Monday through Friday for 2 hours. So if you love this show, just think about this show going even deeper into actual tactics on growing your business for 5 days. I mean, it's a big
90
deal.
minutes minimum. 90 minutes
Yeah,
minimum.
you know us. You know us. How we roll.
We'll end up going over. So yeah, I know. And it's also with frustration, like it's also because I think about this as you're talking, like expectation.
Yeah.
You have to sit back and you have to ask yourself, what's your expectation? And is your expectation outside of realistic, or is it, what is it? When you sometimes have that expectation and things don't go that way, you can get frustrated that way too, because you're like, it should be happening the way I expect it to happen. And when it's not, I'm frustrated. So I have to remind myself as well that there's a difference between expectation and expectancy.
Correct.
So
yeah, it's true.
Here's just a little nugget for you guys. Like, don't have hard expectations, but have great expectancy. So when it comes to this challenge, I don't have any particular expectations as far as what's the impact it's going to give. How many people are we going to have on there? What kind of engagement is there going to be? How's the prize drawing is going to go? Like all this stuff, when you have, is the technology going to be all perfect? Like, is everything going to work properly? Is the camera going to stay on? Like all this stuff. But I do have great expectancy. I have a lot of great expectancy for you guys that will be in attendance, that it will impact you, that it'll give you the things you need in order to grow your business, start your business, get your first client, whatever it might be. I have a really great expectancy around that, but I don't have any hard expectations about how it will come about, because God will work. I know that as long as we are faithful and we stand firm and we're obedient to what we're doing here, like good things are going to happen. And the same thing goes for you guys. If you stand firm and you're obedient to what you feel you're being called to do with your business, or even with your family, or whatever your goals are and your vision is, and why you're listening to us right now, like I have great expectancy, and you should have great expectancy around that. Just cast aside any hard expectations that you might have that can get in the way and actually cause you to get frustrated. And I have to remind myself, because I'm not perfect, I'll lose my lid for a second and kind of just like explode. And then I'll just have to be like, wait, okay, it's all right. Chill. Something else is going to come up. I'm going to lose it again a little bit, but hey, at the end of the day, like I'm good. And I think coming on the show, I was looking forward to it, because I feel like
it's a release.
It's a release, but it's also something that I'm like, you know what? I'm not the only entrepreneur here. No. Like, and you're not either. And you guys who are listening in, all of us together, we're all in different boats, but we're in the same waters. Like, yeah. And we're going to be getting waves crashing against us. And sometimes we got to just, for Andres and I, a lot of times it's about tossing our rope over to you guys into your boat and pulling you on one side and tossing our rope out to other people and pulling them in on the other side. And then for all of us together, just to be riding these big waves together and getting through it. And that's the importance of community. And, and I wanted you guys to know you're not alone in that. Even though you're watching us, we're also behind the scenes. We have challenges. Like, we have 5-day challenges, but we also have like challenges with technology and things like that.
We get frustrated. We get frustrated, and it's real. And there's so many different levels of it. But at the end of the day,
we're blessed.
We're blessed, and impact comes with, there's a lot of great pain that comes with impact. Jesus died on the cross. he experienced something that none of us will ever experience in our lifetime. He was rejected. He was spit on. He was denied. He was looked at as a crazy person. And sometimes, I don't know how he did. Of course, he's Jesus, but I mean, I would have been severely frustrated. And in spite of all that, though, it's like you have to stay on the mission. What's the mission? What are you wanting to do? The impact that you can have in your business, is it for your children? Is it for a legacy? Are you, do you have in your business, do you serve your clients with their health, and you want to just completely reverse elements that they have? I mean, like we've talked about in the show, your business has to have a greater mission. And that's why we talk about why the mission is so important, because in times like when we're very frustrated, in fact, Brock's more frustrated because of how deep he cares about the mission and wanting to help more people. And so but then it's funny because it's also the key out of that. And it's like, okay, listen, I'm frustrated, because it could be something that's out of your control. Like we said, it could be something that's like happened to you and you can get really frustrated. And that's happened to me. And it's like, there's days that I woke up and said, why do I do this? Why do I coach people? Why do I try to help people with everything I have? I don't have to do anything. But then I just remember the mission and the vision that God has given me. It's like, I want to help in my lifetime. I want to help 1 million chefs and cooks. That's pretty heavy. That's my goal. And the only way I'm going to do that is to impact you and then have you impact others. And that's the only way we're going to get to 1 million is together, not Andres on some mountaintop and Brock on some mountaintop with 1 million people. And that's just the honest truth. And so those moments that you feel frustrated, you feel like, it's like, remember about why you do what you do. Like, why do you do what you do? That's the important piece. That's the important part. And guard that part with your life, with your heart. Guard that part with your life and your heart. I really believe that God all gives us these talents and gifts, and then he puts these desires on the inside of us to carry them out. We're not meant to just sit on dreams. Dreams are not meant to just be sit on. They're meant to be executed on. And executing dreams is difficult. That's why not everybody does it. People say what's funny is that people that are successful with wealth, okay, and again, we've talked even about success in on this show and how we have to define success for ourselves. People that are talking about the top 1%, people always say top 1%, top 1%. They sometimes make them seem to be some nasty, greedy people. Now, there's probably some nasty, greedy people in the top 1%, but top 1% is actually anybody in America. I think the last time I checked the stat is like, it's either like 380 or like 400 and some $1,000 a year. That's the top 1%. People think, oh, I thought it was like the trillionaires and the billionaires. No, it's not. 1% is actually very small, which is actually kind of crazy. And the more I think about it, I think it's because there's only 1% of the population that's A, has the mindset, and B, has the willingness, ambition to carry on when everyone else would give up. And that's just truth. And I'm trying to, my personal life goal and honestly, the vision of Chefpreneur is to help as many people to break that mentality and to follow your dreams and to execute on your dreams in spite of everything that's happened in your life, in spite of the misfortunes, in spite of who your parents were, in spite of where you were born, in spite of any of it. We have to move forward in spite of things. We're going to do this 5-day challenge in spite of our frustrations, in spite of what's going on. We're not going to, you guys have seen on the show, we'll go live on the show and the computer dies and I mean, we just do it. And again,
right now my mouse is acting funky.
There you go. You see, it's just more frustration, but you know what? We're on air and we're making an impact. And for us, that's what matters. And, again, I can't take this quote. I love this quote. It's more about leadership, but I also think that it just applies to just being real. Greg Rochelle, one of the best leadership podcasts I listen to, he always says, he goes, always remember, people would always trust a leader who's always real as opposed to one who's always right. And that's very true. And we just want to be real on the show with you guys. Like my coaching style, I'm real with you. I've actually opened up more out of my shell because I am very sensitive and I don't like to offend people per se, or like nobody ever wants to offend anybody. But I've also realized that sometimes, like even on that call with today with that chef, I mean, I didn't put any sugar on it, but I didn't say it in a mean way, but I said, literally, it's because I'm telling you this very directly because I care about you. And I've had many conversations with chefs that are right. I've been in your position, and I told them a little bit about my story, but then it's like, I've been there, and that's why I feel like I have some level of authority to speak to what you're trying to do. And so I went there.
Yeah.
I went there.
I don't think people do it enough.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a form of love. It's actually the highest form of love is, again, just true, real honesty and telling you where you are. And so, but that again, we hope that you got some value. I want to do a couple more shout outs. A few more people have joined. We have Chef Jennifer Tidwell. How you doing, Chef? Chef Hakeem is on. Chef Joshua Bradley, my man. Chef Joshua, your brother. Chef Cassandra Lynn.
Chef Hack.
Chef Pastor Carr. Chef Mark, Travis Barrick, what's up? I don't know if he's still on. Taste of Blessings, hello. Yeah, we just appreciate your guys' support on this show, and we hope you guys got value out of it today. Again, sign up for the 5-day challenge. I don't care if you are a program. There's a lot of program students that are listening in right now. I don't care if you are a program student. Come hype it up with us. Come help us.
And it doesn't matter where you're at.
You always learn something new. Trust me.
It doesn't matter where you're at in your business either.
No,
even if the whole thing's focused on getting that first client or next client. But even if you are having clients, even if you have a business, like check it out, because you want to see a system that can be repeated and it will help you. Like, you don't know if you're going to find some nuggets in there. I guarantee you're going to find some nuggets in there. It's like, oh wait, like, my business is doing fine. Like I'm doing, fine. But that right there, I didn't think about that. I haven't tried that. Right. And you never know. You take that, and within those 5 days, you're like, oh shoot. Like, that's some major things right there. Yeah. That's what we're really looking to do. And we want it to be no fluff. We're going to deliver it straight. We're going to give you a real blueprint, real hard-coded plan in order to take that. And the whole thing is that we don't want it to be this 5-day challenge where we're just spitting out information and theory and all this stuff over 5 days. No, we literally have those fast action sheets at the end of every day. It's like you are meant to take that and go execute it in your business
and actually do it. Yeah.
And that's why last year we had people who are coming back and saying, I just got my first partnership. Like, and they're saying that they're going to be able to, like, they're excited that I called because they're like, oh, we've been looking for this. And then people were saying, I got my first booking. Like, I got my first, and we were amazed because we literally had, you developed a 14-day kind of quote unquote challenge. Now it's a course of ours, right? And it's 14 days. That was for us like can you get a client in 14 days or less? And people were doing it. They were doing it sometimes within a few days. Right. So like a 5-day challenge, and we saw people being able to do that. It's like, yeah. So some of you who are like, man, I feel like when I try to get a client, it takes me 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. Like, that might be, but you do our challenge and you actually do the work and you put in the effort and you do the action that we talk about. It's very real. You get a partnership, you get your first client. It's very cool stuff. And
honestly, if it doesn't happen, like, even if it, again, just to be real with you, even if it doesn't happen overnight and you don't get it in that week, you're learning a skill that's planting a seed that's very powerful. This is single-handedly what we're going to show you in this 5 days, like the actual hindrance of it. And it's really day 5 is when it all comes together. So day 5 is really like the day that you don't want to miss any days, because it all goes. Anybody who knows me, I use the metaphor of building a house, like building a house. And so we have to follow our method, but it all ties together on day 5 when we talk about it. And this is literally how I built our personal chef business, Dinner with a Chef. Like, we didn't pay money in advertising. We didn't go out there and do a bunch of thumbtack quotes. This is literally how we garnered our business to this day, like even to this day. So the fact of the matter is that, I won't say that it's a slower, maybe the faster route would be to dump $1,000 into Facebook ads in a day. but this could be equally as fast. Like Brock was saying, it could happen very quickly if you really want it to happen very quickly. But it also is an amazing way of really having, again, a system and a skill set to say, I could go to any city, and if I apply this tactic, I can know how to start to gain clients.
Right.
That's literally what this is. So, yeah, honestly, that wraps up the show today. Any last words, Brock, before we hop off?
Just that custom knife, baby. Like, I'm
custom
so excited
knife,
to give that away.
Custom knife. Can you share your screen? Is there a way to share the screen?
My mouse is being a little bit funky, but the website's up. It's on there.
Oh, so, yeah. If you scroll down on the website, that's true. You can see a picture of it.
Yeah.
Dang it.
Yeah, if you go to the registration page, you'll be able to see we are giving away prizes throughout the 5-day challenge. And the big one being that custom Chefpreneur kitchen utility knife. And it's Chefpreneur branded, which is badass. I'm so excited for that.
So
We're literally
cool,
it's gonna have it etched on there, Chefpreneur. And again, it is a custom one of a kind because you're gonna be on a call live with Andres, myself, and our event sponsor Levi from Northern Knife Works. He is now officially partnered with Chefpreneur.
That's right, baby.
So,
Levi, we're gonna have him on the show.
The limit.
We are gonna have him on the show.
Yeah, and the sky's the limit, man.
Guy.
This guy makes some amazing knives, but you will be on literally saying, I want this color, and can we do it with this material, and can we have the metal this color? It'll be really cool, and then you will have your very own custom, the first and only one of a kind.
Oh yeah,
Chefpreneur kitchen utility knife. So,
dude, and you know what? This not going to be like any regular knife. This knife has a story, because when you're a chefpreneur, you're living life free of a job, of a job, just over broke job. And the reason why, not to get all super emotional about a knife, I know it sounds kind of weird, but like, it also stands for something. The word chefpreneur stands for something. It's about living life on your own terms. It's about taking your future and putting it in your own hands. It's about taking the reign of your life and like the direction of your life and where you want to go, and it being down to you and not having to rely on anybody else. And so I have this vision of like, when you're using a knife like that and you look down at the extent, like a knife is like most chefs, it's like an extension of our arm, and you look down and you see that Chefpreneur logo. It's not like we want you to just remind you of us. Oh, like Chefpreneur is so great. No, we wanted to remind you of you, that you took action, you stepped out. You're different. You're abnormal. You're not the normal. You're extraordinarily different from other chefs because you're doing life on your own terms, and you're doing it the way you want to do it as a chef frickin' preneur. And so when you see that knife and you're cutting, you're like, you're damn right, I'm a chefpreneur. Like, I don't rely on some corporate Compass Group job. I don't rely on Hilton Marriott. I don't rely on Joe Schmo's down the street, Joe's Crab Shack, whatever. It doesn't matter. You're a chefpreneur now.
That's right.
And so we want it to be a symbol. That's why we also did not want to partner with some mega knife company, because Levi himself is a craftsman and an entrepreneur.
Yep.
In fact, I don't know. Maybe we'll start calling him a knifepreneur.
Yeah.
Right.
You said that.
But like,
night,
here's the thing. It's like, we wanted to partner with somebody that truly loves the craft, who understood the vision. When we were telling him the vision, he's like, dude, it'll be an honor to make these knives and put them into your guys' like chefpreneurs' hands, where they should go. Handcrafted, one of a kind knives. Okay. Like, that's what we want. Just like you're handcrafted, you're one of a kind. You're a chefpreneur. Anyway, guys, we love you guys so much. Thank you guys for tuning into the show. And we're going to go have some cake and some chicken and some stuff right now, right? Baby. For Ashley's birthday.
That's right. Happy birthday, babe.
Love you guys all. Tune in next week. And again, we still will have our show, and we'll be letting you know how the challenge is going. And next week on Wednesday, you can't sign up. It'll be mid challenge. You have to wait to the next one.
That's right.
So make sure you sign up. And again, if you guys are not able to hit that link, make sure you text me again, 470-410-6566. Text me your full name and your email. And if that link is not working, and we'll make sure you guys get signed up. All right. Yep. God bless you guys. Take care. We'll see you next week.
Cheers.